So I'm Charles Crichlow, and I'm a senior lecturer here at UEL, at University of East London. I am the program leader for the professional policing degree programs. And one of the really interesting degree programs that I'm in charge of is the Bachelor of Science in Policing Studies. And this, what makes it really interesting is that this is actually open to officers who are already in service, or actually who have recently retired. And we cover a number of areas, including, police leadership, organized crime, digital policing, because the degree program begins actually at level 6. So because of the professional practice that these officers have already gained, they're discounted level 4 and level 5. So they actually start at level 6. And the degree is done exclusively online and over 2 years. And my colleague, Dr. Habashi, is our research lead on the program.
Okay, thanks for that, Charles. So I teach research and practitioner skills on the BSc Policing Studies degree course. And the first module that you do when you start the degree will actually be the research methods module. The beauty about this degree course is that everyone comes from the same place. We've found that in the 2 years of running this degree that there's been a lot of nervousness of students who started thinking that they don't know how to write academically, that this is going to be too much for them, there's a lot to do in terms of their work life and their work. But what we found is that students have actually naturally enjoyed what they're doing. The lectures, as Charles has just said, they take place on a Wednesday from the time of 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. They're recorded, a lot of information is given to students on the day, and there's an ability for students to meet one another. And what we also do at the start of an academic term is we also encourage previous students, our graduates, to meet with our new students, to encourage them and to show them that it is possible that after 2 years of doing the degree part-time, that they will graduate. So doing research skills, it can sound really quite boring, it can, but I really love research, and my background is in research in government, departments, and I recently with Charles just completed a major review in the Westway area of West London. And my experience around research is one where we want to encourage people to enjoy research because it can be dry. But the way that we teach it actually acknowledges the experience of our students. So in particular what we did this semester, I encouraged the students to go through the Casey review, which was just published, to get their understanding about what a review like this would mean in terms of its findings, in terms of its positioning politically, in terms of the data that it generated. So it gave them a wider understanding around the context of research, but within something that they felt comfortable and understood in terms of their environment around policing. So for us, the degree programme has been actually really successful. But the best success that we've had is about our students. Our first year intake, 5 of our students got first class honours degree. So we're really happy for that. And a number of those want to go on to do masters and PhDs as well. So for us, it's been a real massive success.
Yeah. And I think what's really, really interesting about this particular degree program is the extent to which these serving police officers are made to engage deeply in many of the controversial aspects of the culture of policing, and that's critically important because that doesn't happen within the sort of traditional police training setting. So because we're doing that within the context of higher education, we're able to to immerse these officers into a deeper level of thinking about how they behave towards the public and how they interpret, as Dr. Habashi mentioned then, public inquiry reports and things of that nature. It really has been, it has been quite a revelation, and it's quite unique actually, this program. I don't think, I think it's fair to say, I don't think any other university is doing this degree, this type of program, in the way that, you know, that we've been able to validate this program.
Yeah. And I think Charles is very right, because one thing Charles has been very conscious of as the program leader has been about that criticality of the issues that we're dealing with. This is a really challenging time for policing in the United Kingdom. The last 5 years have been, you know, really challenging. And what we immerse our students to is the emerging issues around policing. Either that's around mental health and policing, deaths in police custody, issues around women and misogyny in policing, and police culture. And what that gives us is a richness within which to impart knowledge to students, but also for them to get them to think about their own practice, about how they do their work, how they engage with communities, and also how they engage with each other and within that policing, to try and change police culture for the better. So for us, the approach that, you know, as Charles's experience is vast in terms of policing, has been one to actually try and change the dynamic around how policing has been taught. And I think that's for the better. Yeah. And I think that our students are the richer for it, because, you know, the success that we've had is down to the dedication that we have in terms of our students, but also in terms of how they, as Charles has said, engage with the subject matter in terms of what we do and how we do it.
I think from my perspective, as a former police officer, I served in Greater Manchester Police for over 30 years. And what the University of East London has offered me actually is an opportunity to bring that perspective, but also to bring it in a critical sense, to look at policing from the inside out, and I guess from the outside in. And you know, I think the office, certainly from the feedback that we've had from students, have found that incredibly beneficial. Yeah. In terms of, I don't know if you found this, but in terms of the writing, what we've found is that police officers, you know, because there's a lot of writing involved in policing, have actually been quite good at writing. Where it's been slightly challenging is in the critical aspect of it. And that's something that we've been very, very aware of. And having come from policing, you know, we're able to reassure students, you know, that the direction that we're moving towards in terms of producing, you know, good dissertations and things of that nature.
I think Charles is very right. I think one of the questions we always get asked when students start is about how can they write academically? We're not academics, they say. How do we reference? And education's a journey, and we all go through that journey. And so we gradually get them into the habit of, as Charles said, when they write essays, to be critical, not to describe. So it's a shift away from how they do their work. The skills are still the same. When we're looking at research, we're looking at evidence, and we look at validating our evidence. And what we found is, especially in terms of our brilliant first cohort of graduates, is really good academic standards, really interesting research subjects that they've chosen for their dissertations, which have, you know, in the case of two of them, actually contributing to knowledge. So that, you know, we're always aware that there's a nervousness about starting a degree, and especially if you're a mature student and you've been working. But this degree, the way that it's set up, the way that, you know, we're all professionals who have background in interest of policing or in criminal justice, enables you to, we gradually immerse you into that world where you feel, yes, we accept at the beginning it's quite nervous and intimidating, but at the end of it, there's a lot of confidence. And that goes because of the teaching, how we operate, but also in terms of the little network of students that we have. And we, you know, our students have little groups that they can communicate and engage with each other. We recently did a visit to the House of Commons and to the archives at the House of Lords to look at evidence, etc. So we do everything that we can to embrace the student, recognising that they're mature students, but also recognising that we have to look at them and engage with them educationally in a way that they can really shine. And our aim is to enable our students to shine.
So if you're interested in professional police studies, whether you think that you're capable or not, and you'd like to have a conversation with myself and my colleague, we're always willing to speak to potential students. So I'm really excited to welcome you onto the program and to encourage you and to support you actually to do well. Okay, so I'm really excited to welcome you onto this program and look forward to receiving your application and welcoming you in September.
We look forward to having you as our future students, our future graduates. Most importantly, I look forward to teaching you in the first semester research practitioner skills.